Page 48. This is harmonization number 3 at the bottom, or Sweet Betsy from Pike, which happens to be what the melody is. They don't have any words in here, but you can look it up if you want. Again, we're harmonizing to this. So first, what key is it in? 1 flat. Well, it's either F major or D minor. And if you look at the end, you're ending on here. A lot of pieces will end on their 1 chord or their F chord. I'm guessing we're in F major. Okay. All the B's are flatted, and the melody. Well, yeah, it's a bavachi. It's supposed to go fat, happy little piece. And you're singing along and having a ball. Okay, let's skip that part right now. We'll just focus on getting the music and the harmony done. Now the chords. What are the chords? Well, you have an F chord, and I don't know where yet. We'll just go here. And then a C7 chord is here. But the C, remember the C chord and add the 7th. And they want the E on the bottom. So I put the C on top. Well, we're back to this 1, 5, 7, 1. So I'm going to leave out that one. I'm just going to do these notes here. And you do F for a while until measure 6. You get D minor chord. That's here. And then a C7 with an E on the bottom again. A couple measures of that. D minor. And then for measure 10, it is an A minor chord somewhere with a C on the bottom. So I'm going to turn it over. So I went from D minor to A minor. Just these went down. And then a B flat chord. Then an F chord. Then a C7 with an E on the bottom again. F. Then a B flat chord with an F on the bottom. That's here. It's actually a 4 chord. And then here. Remember the primary chords? Have we done that? That's sort of what we're doing. Sort of, maybe a little with a few extras stuck in there. Now let's do the bottom note. Here. Just see, they're telling you in the chord what to play, an F or an E. And the second full measure, the slide sheet, that's the note you play, E. C on the bottom. And then an F on the bottom. That's it. So play the bottom note. I'm just playing the note they're telling me with the inversion and all, whatever. Add the chords. Let's see what we get. And then here, remember the C7, first inversion, and I left out that note. 1, 5, 7, 1. Don't make this hard yet. We'll save that for later. Just right here. D minor. The C7 with an E on the bottom. You already had this in the second full measure. Just leave out that note. You don't have to leave out that note. I'm just doing it because I'm a rebel. And then an A minor with a C on the bottom. Remember these went down. B flat, F. And how you finger these chords, you'll figure it out. Or somebody will help you. Somebody else but me. Yeah. So at the last 2 measures, it's an F and then a B flat with an F on the bottom. It's 4 chord. This is how they get away with having a repeated note and still have interest. They change the harmony, the chord progression. They change the chord, the harmony. They want us to transpose this to D major. Well, won't that be fun? F major down a third, a minor third to D major. So in the music, all the notes are going to go down 1 space or 1 line. It's not next. So in other words, that bottom space, now you're playing the note under the line here. And you're playing in the key of D major. D major has two sharps, F sharp and C sharp. Yeah, okay. So for the melody, we're just playing here. And when I get to an F or C, I got to play a sharp. Instead of an A, I go down to the next space under it. It's an F. Yeah. And then instead of a F is the top line, I go to the next line. C sharp now. F sharp. Yeah. That's one way of doing it. Another way you might try transposing, because you're going to need to do it eventually, and maybe you've already done it and I forgot because I can't remember squat anymore, is once you figure out where your starting point is, like here at the beginning I'm on a D. Once I figure that note out, I can play the rest of it just by looking at the intervals in the music. I got a D. The first full measure, it starts out with a D, and then it goes up a third. So I'm going to go up a third, except I got to play in the key signature. So it's an F. You go up another third, go down a second, down a third, down a second. And I'm reading the intervals in the music, and I'm just playing that interval in the keyboard in the key that I'm in. So F sharps and C sharps. And that's another way of doing it, and sometimes you need to do it that way. If I were going like from F major to B major, I mean, that's a long way away. So once I just got to figure out the first note there and just kind of got to do it by interval. So you got to be able to do it either way. It's good practice. It doesn't hurt anything. I don't know if that's really what they want you to do here or not, but I threw it in there for kicks and giggles. Okay, now let's do the chords. Again, you can take each note down, chord down 2 letters. So instead of an F, I go down to a D, play a D chord. Remember, I got F sharps and C sharps. And the next one is the 5/7 chords. Just play a 5/7 chord. Makes it easier. But if you really want to know what it is, it's a C7 chord, which is here. But you go down 2 letters here and play a 7 chord. It's that. And then I put this on top because we're with the C sharp on the bottom. E, C sharp. I left out that note. Now I just went from here to here. Same as getting hard for later. It's here. And then measure 6 is a D minor. We'll go down 2 letters, D here, so it's a B minor. The minor takes care of itself if you just play in the key. And then back to that 5/7 again. D minor, which a B minor, remember? And then an A minor is here, 2 letters down, F, which is an F sharp in this case. But they want the C on the bottom, which in our case would be an A on the bottom. So we'll put the F sharp over here. So that would be the F sharp minor, and then we put the F sharp on the top. It's because I want that on the bottom. A's on the bottom because they want C on the bottom. I went down 2 letters, that's all. And then a B flat, go down 2 letters, it's a B, a G. It's B flat. B flat is here, they go down 2 letters, it's a B, a G chord. Don't let the B flat fool you. The B flat is for the key of F major. We're in the key of G major, and that's a B natural. And then back to a D chord. Then the 5/7 chord. And then last 2 chords, the B flat with the F on the bottom. A B flat is here, and the F is on the bottom. Remember, it's a 4 chord? Well, we're in the key of G, just do a 4 chord. It's because a B flat chord, go down 2, that's be a G chord. And the F is on the bottom. Well, F go down 2, so they want the D on the bottom. Put the D on the bottom. It's the 4 chord. So we do the letter first. So instead of F, I do a D here. Instead of this F, I do this. And then instead of an E, I want a C sharp. And then a D here, and instead of a D minor, I want a B. And then instead of an E, a C sharp again. And then instead of a C, I want an A. Instead of a B flat, I want a G. Instead of an F, I want a D. Instead of an E, I want a C sharp. So those are the letters. I went kind of fast. Coffee's kicking in. Then I go back and try the chords again. Well, let's see. We're starting with the D, a D major chord. And the 5/7 chord, that is it's instead of a C7, it's an A7. Remember, I'm taking the letters down 2 letters. Instead of a C, it's an A, C, B, A. But I invert it, see, and that's just that. D minor, it's a B minor. And then back to the 5/7 chord. And the B minor again. And then we want, instead of an A minor, we want an F sharp minor, but we want the A on the bottom. Here. Instead of a B flat, it's a G. With that 1-4-1 at the end. And again, if you wonder, what did you get a 4-1 out of that? Well, the 4 chord. You're starting with a 1 chord, and then the B flat with the F on the bottom is the second version. With a B flat, I go down 2 letters. That's a G chord. So I have a G chord, and I just put the D on the bottom. That turns out to be a 4 chord. A D chord, because a G chord, in the key of D major, 1, 2, 3, 4. A G chord, is a 4 chord. Well, that's all it is. And that's the pattern we generally use for the primary chords. The 1, the 4, 5/7. That's the pattern we typically use, so we're just doing it. I mean, they told us to use those inversions. I'm just doing what I'm told. Surprise, surprise. So anyway, that's sort of what I'm getting out of this.